What's going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and PS4 players. Man, I feel for you. It is a shitty situation that you're in with regards to Fallout 4 PS4 mods. The question for today's video is, what do you think about the whole Fallout 4 PS4 modding thing? Let me know in the comments. Unfortunately, there's still no real news about PS4 modding. The reason why I'm making this video is that Hines was recently asked the question in an interview, which you can find linked in the description below, with the website called Metro, and in particular he was being interviewed from someone from Game Central. Now I'm just going to tell you the questions that this interviewer asked, and of course Hines' responses, and then I'll get into my little spiel about Fallout 4 PS4 modding, because it does suck. And to give a bit of context, Fallout 4 PS4 modding was initially advertised to be available in June of this year. It is now September. So let's get into what Hines said, and then I'll get into my thoughts. So as you can see on screen right now, the interviewer from Game Central asks the following question. I should also ask about Fallout 4 mods on PlayStation 4. Is that Sony holding that up, or is it just a technical problem at your end? Hines' response was, all I can say is that it's undergoing an evaluation process, and as soon as it's done and we have more info, we're gonna let everyone know. Game Central responds with, that implies that it's Sony's end. It's not a technical issue, or you've just decided you don't want to do it. Hines responds with, we haven't said. It's definitely not that we've decided not to do it. We absolutely, positively want to get PS4 mods as fast as humanly possible. And then that's where the interview ends with regards to PS4 modding for Fallout 4. So this is really a non-update. The reason why I've made this video is because I still think it's noteworthy the fact that Hines and Bethesda generally, they're being asked about Fallout 4 PS4 modding, and they're still having to give responses, especially because, again, they mentioned the fact, and I think it was at E3 when they said this, or it could have been a bit after, they advertised the fact that Fallout 4 PS4 modding would be a thing in June of this year, and it's now September, as I mentioned before. So what are my thoughts on this? Again, as I said at the start of this video, I truly do feel for all of you on the PS4. I don't own a PS4, I own an Xbox One, but of course I also own a PC. So I've been experiencing and enjoying mods for Fallout 4 and other games of the like for years now. And when console modding was announced for Fallout 4 on PS4 and Xbox One, I was ecstatic. Not for me necessarily, because I already experienced Fallout modding for years, and also with regards to Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls. But I was excited for those of you on console that perhaps have never owned a PC, or that have never been able to afford one, or just are a bit intimidated by purchasing a PC. Whatever the reason why you don't have one and you've decided to stick with a console, I was excited for all of you, because for me, the excitement and the genuine happiness migrating from a console to the PC and finding out about this thing called modding was just an amazing feeling that I would love for anybody to actually have and to actually enjoy themselves. And I made numerous videos about that. I was really genuinely excited for those of you on the consoles to experience mods possibly, or more likely, for the first time. And for Xbox One, while there have been some issues, you guys have had a relatively smooth experience, or at least smoother than what it's been for PlayStation 4 players. And again, I do feel for you. I think it sucks. I was excited for you at the time. I'm still excited for you. But what I will say is that don't give up hope. The reason why I say that is because, of course, it's in Bethesda's best interest, and it's also in Sony's best interest to ensure that modding comes to you guys for Fallout 4 as quickly as humanly possible, as Hines said. It sucks, do not get me wrong, it does suck, and I feel for you and I empathize with you. But it's not like they're trying to intentionally sabotage PS4 fans. It's in their best business interest to actually ensure that PS4 modding starts to work, because remember that with Skyrim Special Edition coming out this year, they also promised that PS4 modding would be a thing with that game as well. They advertised it. And if they were to go back on that promise and go back on those advertisements, that's going to hurt their bottom line, and that's going to give them a very, very bad reputation. And I'm talking about Bethesda in particular here. So it's not like they're intentionally trying to sabotage PS4 fans or PS4 owners or anything like that. The fact is, you're paying customers, they promised you a good or a service, and they want to give that to you as fast as they can. And also on Sony's side as well, I mean, it's not like Sony isn't copping any flack for this. They're also receiving a bunch of shit from fans and PS4 owners because, as this interview has kind of implied, and as many other people have suggested, it could be the case that the issues are on Sony's side as opposed to Bethesda's side. But to be honest, I'm not really interested in engaging in that kind of speculation. I don't necessarily care whether it's Bethesda's fault, whether it's Sony's fault, whether it's a mix of both. The fact is, Sony as well, even if it was their fault, hypothetical sake, it's also in their best interest as well to ensure that this starts working, because Xbox is their direct competitor and people have been enjoying Fallout 4 modding on Xbox for a while now. And if they're also able to do that with Skyrim Special Edition, which again is probably going to be a very large selling game or a high number selling game, then PlayStation and Sony are going to suffer again for that. So it is also in their best interest to ensure that PS4 modding gets sorted as fast as possible, and not only starts, but also ensure that all the kinks and the bugs are worked out after that initial launch, because remember, that happened somewhat with Xbox One console modding. There were always going to be issues to sort out. So what we don't want as well is for Fallout 4 PS4 modding to be ready to go on the console pretty much as soon as Skyrim Special Edition has come out, without any of those initial launch bugs being sorted. So look, it's in Bethesda's financial interest, it's in Sony's financial interest and monetary interest to ensure that PS4 modding happens. But I do truly feel for all of you PlayStation 4 owners that it hasn't happened yet. But again, I'm not going to engage in any speculation. I'm not going to throw hate at companies because I just don't do that on this channel. I really don't. I try and stay as positive as I can because I love this industry. Even though I don't own a PlayStation, I still love the PlayStation and Sony brand because I had so many good experiences with the PlayStation 2. I mean, that was my console of choice before I bought the Xbox 360 and also played back in the PS1 days. I'm not that kind of fanboy that just chucks hate at a company because I decided to purchase the competitor product. I just don't do that. I think it's kind of immature. I want to see all of you on the PS4, even though I own an Xbox One and a PC, I want to see all of you on the PS4 just enjoy games. I mean, why the fuck is there this mentality that it's Xbox One versus PlayStation 4? I get it, it's fanboyism, it's that natural instinct to be competitive with one another, but honestly, I just don't have time for that childish bullshit. Honestly, I don't. I want everybody to enjoy their games to the fullest extent. And with regards to Fallout 4, right now the focus is getting PS4 modding working up, getting all those kinks sorted out, and also potentially as well increasing or bumping up that console mod limit of 900 megabytes and maybe getting it on par to the Xbox One console limit. At this stage, it's been about several months since Xbox One console modding for Fallout 4 has been a thing, so I doubt that 2 gigabyte limit is going to be increased anytime soon. Maybe for Skyrim Special Edition, who really knows, but I think Bethesda's main concern right now is ensuring that PS4 console modding actually becomes a thing and actually is launched properly so that fans are given what they were advertised. And again, Skyrim Special Edition is coming out this year, whenever it is, October, November, I can't remember at the top of my head, but they need to get that right for that game because again, they've advertised that PS4 modding will be a thing with Skyrim Special Edition, and if Bethesda hasn't received enough shit for Fallout 4 PS4 modding, just wait until you see the outcry if Skyrim Special Edition is released and Xbox One console modding is a thing, but PS4 modding isn't a thing. I think the outrage is just going to be tremendous on a completely different level to the arguments and to the debates that we're seeing right now with regards to PS4 console modding. So to sum up, fuck fanboy wars, seriously, PS4 players, I feel for you, and I want you to get console modding as quick as humanly possible. Again, I'm very sure that Bethesda wants to as well, I'm sure Sony wants to as well. We can only really speculate as to the kinds of technical issues that they're facing in trying to get this up and running, and I'm not going to engage in that kind of practice. I'm just going to say, fingers crossed for all of you guys, I hope you get it soon. Anyways, Wastelanders, that's all from me. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.